How's it, guys? Welcome to another episode of Side Hustle Garage. In today's video now, we basically saying goodbye to our build. Unfortunately, you guys weren't there with the build, but we felt it's only fair that you guys see what we went up to before we started the YouTube channel. The car here is basically the reason why we got the huge amount of followers on Facebook, and that's where it all started, with the love for the mk1 Escort that we have here. It was a joint project with me, my brother Fonzo, and a few other gentlemen like these guys over here. How's it, guys? Yeah, it was a community, it was like a family project. We basically picked it up in where was that, Noor? Lapland?
Lapland, yeah.
We picked it up in Lapland. It was basically
Lapland.
Lapland. It was in Lapland. Yeah, but it was basically just a chassis. On the route here, like the 3 of the wheels fell off. There was basically no brakes. There was literally, all those that follow us on Facebook was probably witness to that when we went live and the wheel actually fell off. And they laughed because I was the one driving. There was quite a few things we have done. It doesn't look like much, it still look like shit, but like I said, we poured a lot of love, sweat, and a lot of broken knuckles into this, eh? So on with it here. My brother will be taking you guys bumper to bumper. Okay, the one bumper. No, there's actually no bumpers. There used to be bumpers, but you guys get the idea. Nora's gonna be taking you guys through the build. That is not a bumper. That is a scoop. A bumper here is to prevent it.
Some sort of bumper, man.
Nee, is a bumper nie.
Say one extra.
Yeah, anyway, this year. Noor, what model Escort is this now again?
Yeah, to be honest with you,
Noor?
huh?
Go on, yeah.
I'm gonna tell you now, it's written here on the tag. And somewhere over there. Anyway,
It was made here in South Africa, in our hometown. Like, yeah, next to our hometown. It was built here in Port Elizabeth, Struwendale, South Africa. The original lights we had was the Forenza lights. They call it the Forenza lights, and we swapped that out for the round grill, Noor.
yeah, what was the uncle's name now again? I can't remember his name, but he actually wanted it, and because we didn't like the rectangular lights, we swapped it for the round grill, and this is actually a SideHustleGarage light. So, we have the original lights inside, but yeah, we're not going to use that. We just prefer the SideHustleGarage light. Not that we were actually going to use the lights, but just there for aesthetic purposes.
Yeah. And side note, those that actually know, the original lights was not a light, it was a bulb, or is a bulb.
One huge bulb.
It was one huge ass bulb, that's what it is. And it shine like flipping candles. Yeah,
that stuff wasn't ideal for night driving. Shout out to Shukran for donating the bullet holes for us.
Sponsored us.
Yeah, he sponsored it, and the wheels itself is wrapped in 175/50/30.
Super expensive.
Yeah,
super hard. So
Yokohamas. These are really good quality tires though. They last really long. Even though your camera might be out, it doesn't even wear off that quickly.
on that note, there's absolutely no kits out there as far as we know, coilover kits, so we went old school method and we grinded it. Didn't we know how many loops was that?
We cut about 4 loops.
4 loops, and the result is the camber. Essentially there is no camber adjustment on these vehicles, but when you do drop it, you end up with this camber, and yeah, it chows the tires, no? The back, what do we do at the back again?
Back.
We did the whole suspension over in front. It was a huge schlep to actually get parts with this, because it uses the imperial system, and here in South Africa we use the metric system. So you guys can imagine, it was a schlep trying to get bolts and nuts for this thing. It was really difficult, but shout out to Dudgies for actually supplying us with the bolts and nuts that we did require. Noor, can you run us what's happening at the back?
Rear suspension setup, as you guys can see, this over here. This is to strap the rear axle closer to the body, because the car was made for spinning. We needed it as stiff as possible. So if you look underneath, there you can see it is strapped towards the chassis with actual solid bars. If you can get close enough in there, then you can see. This thing is actually very cool.
And then the diff, Noor?
The standard diff we had was, if I'm not wrong, it was a 398, and then we couldn't even get second gear burnout with that, and then we were like, no, we had to get another diff. And then our friend Mato,
Shout out to Mato there, my
shout
bro.
out to Mato, yes, he sponsored us with the 411 diff, and then I fitted the 411 diff, but there was some issues with that.
Unfortunately, you guys can't see it, but as you can see, Noor did an awesome job, because time and time again, he had to take the side shafts out, get the diff. He had to, yeah, there was a huge issue with this. We had quite a few problems with the prop shaft, the, what was it, that seals at the back, it was leaking, and then time again, he had to remove the side shafts. Like right now, Noor can do this whole setup in like probably less than an hour. Let's take it out, no, weld it, lock it in place, or just together, cute puppy, and then put it back together again.
Yeah. And also we had problems with the shims, because when we had to change the diff, the shims wasn't the right size anymore. Where with the 398, that was the original shim, so when we had to put the 411 in, the what's in is different. So yeah, this is a CCN number plate.
Those that knows.
Yeah, this comes from Utenaik, the old school Utenaik. If you don't know CCN, dan is hy nog te jonk.
This was basically, how old is this thing? It's quite old, but this is basically the only rust there was. This is still the original wiring that's in there. There's some rust, but otherwise it's...
For those that actually know Escorts, you probably know that the petrol tank sits here, which is now actually absent and is now inside the car.
It's relocated inside.
Yeah.
It
Welded mounts for the tank to sit inside the car. That is because when you're spinning and your tires are busy or just about to burst, all the wires that come out can, as you can see, there's holes there, so the sparks would come through here, and your petrol tank would also be here. So if you put 2 and 2 together, sparks and petrol, I mean, obviously that is not a good combination. Yeah. And then if you
shout out to King Shine. I wanted to show you guys how smoothly this what's this name actually closes.
And then if you go inside, the bucket seat here, sponsored by Torika Rim. Yeah. And then if you guys are looking for steering wheels, we do sell them here at SideHustleGarage. The tachometer, tachometer.
We keep it South African, ne? Tachometer,
whatever.
Switch it on here.
You guys can see.
We actually also supply these,
We sell this as well. And then the electronic gauges we bought at Rangers, the heat gauge and the oil pressure gauge. And
mechanical, by the way, no?
Mechanical, I apologize, mechanical. And then here is our battery level indicator. Quite important actually, because it can give you the actual reading of the battery. And then
side note, we were suckling our moor off with this thing. We actually still are, but we'll get to that bit in a bit. Get to that part in a bit, with the whole wiring and alternator not charging. Those that follow us, they saw it was, they think it was like quick. No, the whole build was like rather quick, but it was a lot of nights of...
For us it wasn't quick.
Yeah.
Probably because we like working at the exceptional amount of speed and like to get things done as quick as possible.
But we rewired everything. It doesn't look like much, but from the engine what we got, there was absolutely nothing new. We can just open that side. As you guys can check here, still solid lines, the door lines, the panel lines, everything's still lining up the spec. I think this was made from 1.8 mil steel. That's a wiring we done. And that is a fuel line. We placed it inside the trunking because of the other seat that's going to sit here. It is the feed line and the return line. And the reason why we use this tank is because the lowest point, as you guys see, is like V-shaped kinda, so it ensures there's always fuel at the bottom. Yeah, so yeah.
Okay, just cut it out.
Anyway, so the switches here to the guy that's going to be purchasing it next. This here is our fan switch.
Yeah.
That is the ignition and also the fuel pump, and this one here is to charge the alternator. So as soon as this light actually goes off, that means it's charging, and that is our starter. Oh shit, quick one, quite one in or quite reaction. We removed the panels here. We were gonna fold this up, but yeah, we took out the original cluster and all that other malarkey there. We basically stripped it out from the original wiring, so we can have this here. Shout out to Junaid, I'm okay for Junaid Spinner. He helped us out a lot, even though he's a Datsun guy, and those following us know all the politics pertaining there with him and L to the 8 builds. But if it wasn't for Junaid, we wouldn't have finished his car so quickly. I seen from the man, it felt like, man, he gets things done like really quick. He'll like rock up here like 10 o'clock in the evening and be like, my bro, kom ons help with die tuff, come and get take a gearbox quickly out. And there's a lot of guys who contributed. Huge shout out to Amishafi. You will be hearing his name a lot, as Noor will be taking you guys through the actual engine and the drivetrain we're running here.
So, pertaining the engine, we had to win engines initially. First one that was sponsored by Ubaidullah. What is Ubaidullah channel again?
Ubaidullah Musa.
Ubaidullah Musa, yes. Shout out to him for that. Which one did he donate to us? That was the...
That was a normal, the carburetor Pinto engine. That's the one we had initially. What did we do with that one? Oh, yeah, we opted after doing some research. We found that the fuel injection Pinto engine, 205 block, the cylinder head, it's much better than the carburetor one since the ports is bigger. I'm speaking under correction. No, actually not. We had the carburetor cylinder head and the fuel injection cylinder head next to each other, so we actually measured it out. The valves on the fuel injection cylinder head is bigger, and the inlet ports is also bigger than the carburetor one. Shout out to Fanny for also helping. Was always here. It's not one as much for the camera, nah? Check out my sister, young. And then yeah, so we opted to go for the 205. And then what we basically, shout out to RT Engineering, they did our cylinder head for us. It is new, yeah, it's cool iron, it's cast iron or?
No, not cast iron, solid steel.
It's like solid steel, whereas on your normal conventional cylinder heads would be aluminium. This one is solid steel. So instead of taking like 2 days to pot and polish, we ended up waiting like a week, no?
Yeah, quite
you can imagine with a little pencil grinder and that drilling tools to actually pour this, you know, to take away all that small fine lines and stuff. But it was worth it at the end of the day. And shout out again, Tommy Shafi, he sponsored us. That's where we actually met him, Noor.
Yeah, because of the Ford.
Because of the Ford.
If we never bought this car, we would have never met Uncle Shafi.
Yeah, and he sponsored us. They were initially followers his lighty. He didn't know us because Amar was following us, and Amar was like, is it guys, now we'd like to sponsor you guys with a cam. To this day, I still don't know where this cam comes from, but there's the cam has two profiles. The inlet is different from the exhaust valve. The inlet I think is like 288 profile and the exhaust is like a 272. And then yeah, the exhaust is stock standard, as you guys can see there, stock standard. The intake, the side drive intake, we purchased from a dude. Was hom Kobus Noor?
I can't remember what's the uncle's name that we bought the manifold from.
But it was here locally purchased in dispatch. Yeah. And huge shout out to Johan from Pretoria.
That's Pretoria, yes.
Johan from Pretoria, he sponsored us with the side drives. As you guys can see, a matching set of DCO E40 side drives. The original jets wasn't working to lacquer. And then once again, Junaid, we were lending his modified F41 standard emulsions was modified, and we bought out the standard one. I think it was like 125 mains, and we bought that out to like 150s. And then Chris Hiscock organized us the trumpets. Shout out to him, Chris Hiscock. You know, there's so many guys. We do apologize, Noor, if we don't get to all the names like as we're going along. But you guys know who you are, and we appreciate what you guys have done for us.
Yeah.
We appreciate what you guys have done for us. The cooling, what's this here, Noor?
It's a Nissan 1400 radiator. Well, yeah, it fell from a bucket like that, standing over there. We couldn't find the original 1600 Kent radiator that comes with the car. So we had to make this one work. And then this is a single core radiator, if I'm not mistaken. And then core, yeah. And then we had custom pipes made. As you can see, this is metal pipes that has been bent, and then over the tips there's just rubbers so we can connect it. And inside here also is metal and then
It's like an adapter, Mister.
yeah, basically, and then this is your heat gauge for the heat gauge, and then right at the bottom you can see the Peugeot fan switch.
Your fan switch is an automatic fan switch.
Automatic fan switch, yes.
But on top of that, we have a toggle switch, so we do know what we're gonna do. So
a manual override.
a manual override in case the automatic one doesn't work. But we had some issues with the cooling. We had some issues with the cooling. We have a manual fan here, electronic fan. We weren't running the viscous. But our last run, yeah, okay, we're gonna be taking it for a run now. We'll see how it actually performs, because we basically flushed the cooling system and we serviced the radiator. Yeah, it was a slip trying to find a radiator that would physically fit in here, since we're limited on space, and actually serve its purpose of keeping it cool. Noor, what happened to the brake booster?
The brake booster we deleted. Initially we thought we weren't gonna have enough space. Well, technically we wouldn't have enough space. And also we don't, as on a spin car, you don't really need much brakes. Yeah. As long as there's something to press. But I mean, whether the brakes is hard or soft, it doesn't matter. So we did a delete on the whole brake booster.
And Noor, yeah, Noor did the whole brake hydraulic line. Shout out to C&M Hydraulics for supplying us with all our pipes and fittings, majority of the pipes and fittings that we can't find anywhere. Again, like I said, everything on this car is Imperial. I must be correct, Imperial was the UK standard. No? Side note, South Africa was once occupied by UK. Yeah, no, and before that was the Netherlands. It's a brief history there for you guys. So yeah, everything that time was under Imperial measurements, or standards rather, before it turned over to metric. So C&M Hydraulics actually found us fittings and thread sizes to match the little brake booster, or rather the master cylinder that we have there. And then it was a huge issue to actually get it was seized. The brakes was physically, it was seized, the calipers, yeah. The calipers, but we eventually got it loose, and both is actually working.
And since the car has been standing for about 20 years, we actually still have the original brake pads. Okay, I wouldn't say original, but the same brake pads that has been on the car since the car has been standing. We have been using those, and
yeah, so there you guys have it. And then yeah, fortunately I have the syncing tool, so we could set up the side drafts quite lekker. The ignition system, we opted for the electronic one. Very super scarce. So what it basically means is no points and condensers being used here. It is full electronic, and as you guys can see there, and we actually have a limiter rotor to go with it, mechanical limiter rotor. So we're running obviously electronic oil, and then our the TP100, I think that is what it calls, or rather the module. We opted here for a Opel Cadet one. Yeah, seems to work fine. We did that on our champ bucket as well. So yeah, that's basically for the engine setup. Fuel supply, a little facet pump, inline, and then the return as well. 6mm feed and 4mm return. Yeah, that's basically it. And then the headers is wrapped. Oh, the mounts, these are Ford V6 engine mounts, the rubbers itself, and then those are Kent. Those are from a 1600 Kent, and we just basically spaced it out, made the discus there, and spaced it out with some nuts and bolts over there as well. And then your drivetrain, this here is a 4-speed, ain't it, Noor?
4-speed, yeah.
This here is a 4-speed, the matching Ford Sierra gearbox.
With an auto, for the what do they call it? The prop shaft comes from a 1600 automatic.
Yeah, that was a straight fit. That was like super surprising. All we did was we had to cut the firewall. We had to basically lift it a little bit, and then we just welded it back in place. We didn't knock anything by the firewall for the engine to fit. So yeah, that's about it for our build, guys. Here's to many more builds to come up. Here's to many more builds. Hope you guys like what you see, and please do leave a like and subscribe, and we'll be bringing a lot more builds for you guys. Nah, so Noor,
thank you guys for watching. Please don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And also, please, if you guys have ideas of what you guys would like to see in the future, please let us know down below in the comment section.
Side Hustle Garage out safe, guys.
We are busy towing the spin car, the mk1 Escort, to a designated location just to try and spin a bit, just test the car quickly, and from there we'll see how it goes. Okay.